Hello and welcome to another edition of How to K2. Today we're going to be talking about process error repair. This video will force a process into an error state and then show you ways to determine the error, retry the processing, and ultimately repair the error. We're going to start off in Visual Studio with a very basic process. We can go into the server event and add some code that will end up producing a divide by zero error. In this code, we can save it and then flip back to our process view and deploy it. So go ahead and do that. Click on deploy. You can see in the lower left-hand corner where it gives us a status of what's going on. Build progress, build started, deploy started, etc. Walk through our wizard and have this deploy out to our K2 server so we can get started. There we go. Now we're going to flip over to Workspace. Now that our process is deployed, we can go into Workspace and start a new instance. As you see in our toolbar, we can click Start New. We don't need to provide any data fields. This is a very basic process. Now we can click Find and see that our process has started and it is now in error state. When I hover over the status, you see that the error is attempted divide by zero. Let's go further down in the workspace and see our error profiles. We can see a little bit more information about that process in here, and as we check the box and click retry, nothing happens as it is not possible to repair that error. We can refresh and go back in and see that it's still there. My next option is to use Visual Studio and the process management functionality that is presented. I can go in and select K2 Process Management, and I can see the different error profiles that are there as well. In this case, all, and we can see the process in error right there, along with a visual aid that tells us where in the process this is. You also see that I have the option to retry, but in this case we want to actually open the process so we can repair it. Another way to open the process is through Workspace. As we browse through here and go to the different versions, you can see I have the option to download the source code as well. But going back to Visual Studio, it opens right to where our error is, and I can make the appropriate modifications as needed. In this case, we'll just make it rather simple and remove that divide by zero error. And we need to save it locally, so we can give it a location to save that new solution and give it an appropriate name so we know what this particular piece is, and we'll call it repaired. Then I save that, and I need to rebuild this and flip back to my process management tab so that I can redeploy it. So we'll build this solution and then go back to process management tab and make sure that we redeploy. You see the redeploy icon there again. And as I select that, it's going to present me with some information that I need to enter for a label. Now we want to make sure we get this label with some information that helps us determine what was modified or if anything. So we'll say that this is the recorded session and then give it some notes that tells what happened. We fixed the divide by zero error. I also have the option in here to retry all instances in error, which is what we want to do at this point so that we don't have to do this for each individual process. Now that's completed. Now we can go back into Workspace and see what has happened. We can browse through the different management consoles here and see our instance, see if we can find some instances. And yes, we have one that's active and it's not listed in there as in error any longer. As we go into the error profiles, select the all profile and we can see there's nothing there either. So that process is no longer in error. But another change, if we go into versions, we see a new version with the description we added, and we can see from the star that that particular version is now the default version that all processes will start with. Well, that's going to do it for another edition of How to K2. I hope you found this example helpful. Have a fantastic day.